process of an individual salesperson and a client. So the thinking process of a salesperson is going to be defined as what do we have to accomplish on this call and or in-person interview. Peter just told me that he put down $1,000 on a car and had 24 hours to go get it back and had to leave work to go get it. So now he's risking a day of pay, right, for a bad decision. The thinking process on that was not clear. Why do we make bad decisions? And Peter was kind of perfect to come in with that story. And then he says to me, all right, well, he put his hand out. And I said, shaking my hand means you're not coming back. I said, to go get your money back for something takes about 5 or 10 minutes. He said, go do that, come back. Well, I need to go buy another car. So I said, why do you have to go get another car if you're getting your money back on this one? I said, it takes, maybe 2 hours to go purchase a car. And he didn't really have a clear answer. So where's our thinking process that we go show up to work to go do something, and then we say, well, I really can't be here? Where's that thinking process? We want to feel what? That we did something productive. Very good. So he's saying in his head, well, I did go to work, I did the right thing. But in reality, what occurred? The opposite. In reality, when I look around, we're missing half the staff right now out here and probably 3/4 of the staff back there. And we look at that and we say, where's the productive levels? They're at 0, aren't they? There's only a few people that have that concern. We had one of our reps that came in that just decides to show up whenever they want, and he was standing in the back telling me that they finally want to work. Apparently today was the epiphany, all right? And the reason that they didn't show up to work was they didn't have to, and now that they're broke, they do. So where's that level of thinking? We have a thinking process that occurs inside of our heads that tells us that something's right, even though to other people it's going to seem wrong. But if we convince ourselves enough times that somebody else is going to believe it, we stick to that story. But we all have different stories inside of our heads and the ones that we tell other people. How do we change them to the resolution that everybody's going to believe them and they basically are just true, and it's the premise of what you should be working towards? And that's the goal of gratification. So I want you guys to write down for me. This has nothing to do with New Year's or any of that. I want you to write down the purpose of why we do what we do and define it. And I really want you guys to do this. Don't take a piece of paper and stare at it. Write down, what is my purpose and why do I do what I do? Because people, again, have different stories and different reasons. But if you can find your reasons purposeful enough, that's how you get to the next level of success. And that's what the difference is. The difference. It's the 1%, where the 99% fail and the 1% succeed. That's the difference, that they actually have a purpose. And you need to define it for yourself, especially inside sales, because we're in a horrible business. You're in the business of no. That's the business that we're in. When people say, what do you do for a living? You say, well, I hear no a lot. You're a salesperson. You're going to. It's up to you to turn a no into a yes. So we live our lives every single day, James, here in negativity. Every day. And then all of a sudden, you become a negative person. And being a negative person, you look to go what? Latch onto negative things, Tam. And these negative things will affect your life. And as soon as it affects your life, that's the way you start living, but then it changes your mindset, which is your thinking process. So your thinking process becomes worn because of all the no's you hear, and you're so used to the no's that you develop other stuff that you're not supposed to do because you're used to the negativity, and now it's what? Acceptable. Part of life. Awesome, George. So how do you tweak that, and how do you change it? This is where salespeople come in, and then you have the upper half of the sales force, where they just think a little bit differently, Danny, than everybody else. Then you have a lower half that they all say the upper half has all of the
good leads.
Good leads, I'll take that one, right? Has all of the special privileges, has all of the relationships, has all of that, and we can keep going on and on and on, because our thinking process wants us to be worn. We can't allow ourselves to think differently, or else we have to start going like this, and we don't want to do that. So in sales, why is it so important to train your mind differently? Well, it's because you're a negative person already, and as soon as you're allowed to be negative, full-blown superhero. Think about that. So what is your purpose, and literally what drives you? What is behind it? Figure that out. So the rep that was just here, they gave me the story that they're ready to work. Was that the truth? Hell no. What was the real truth?
Needed money.
They just needed quick money. And they'll say anything that they can to make you believe it. But I said, I don't believe it. You're full of it. Please leave. But no, I mean it this time. And if you hear that coming from your own mouth sometimes about, let's say, weight loss, or it'd be nicer to my wife, or nicer to my husband, nicer to my friend, or not gonna hit my dog, whatever it is that you guys do, if you say that to yourselves, think about that carrying over into everything else. Now transition that into a sale. And here's where it gets real crafty, that if you're that person in life, what do you do with clients? Well, you give up that easy too. Because you're so used to people not believing you, or yourself telling stories, that as soon as you ask for something and somebody says no, now you start developing what? Lies. Now you become a lying salesperson, and you're trying to get one over on somebody, and then as soon as they call you out on it, what do? Hang up, and you move on. So it actually stops you from becoming a superior salesperson once you can't even accept yourself. So when I say, what is your purpose, it's really to define, like, why are we here? What is our character? And define it and say to yourself, am I deserving of making this? Am I doing all the right things to go make this? Or am I not doing the right things to make this? Because this job ain't for everybody, Giovanni. It's not. I mean, you take a beating. And that's why you have to have this shield in front of your face and just say, hey, you could throw anything at me, it just doesn't hurt me at all. You can't be emotionally distraught. You can't. Because people on the phone, they don't really mean it. But if you're that person that takes that negativity and then exerts it inside of your own mind without you knowing, back out, well, you're going to fail. So what do you have to do, especially in our job, with all this negative feedback? Well, you have to remember your purpose every day. And a lot of people, as you can see, don't. We come up and say, there's traffic. I hear that all the time. Billy, I love him to death. Kid's depressed. Doesn't do anything. Smart as a fucking Doogie Howser. Knows everything about everything. But he's just depressed. And when he's depressed, he can't wake up on time. The kid works till 11 o'clock at night. But shit, he has no desire to wake up. If you feel that way, that sometimes you just don't have desire to wake up, it's because of your thinking process. It's because that there's nothing that's exciting you because you're used to that negativity. So now you associate that negativity to what you do and what you do to waking up, and now you have no drive to do anything. And now that goes to bleed over to diet and exercise and everything else in your relationships. Start treating a significant other like shit and your friends like shit. And now you're trying to find other people like-minded. You see how it just fucking starts to trickle down? And now your whole life's just in fucking shambles. You don't walk the dog shits on the rug, then you get mad at the dog crapping on the rug, but that's because you didn't walk the dog. You didn't walk the dog because you're depressed, and you're depressed because you didn't sell. You didn't sell because you're depressed. And it just goes on and on and on and on. So how do you change it? And that's my question. How do you change it? How do you get rid of that crappy sales mentality that I just saw? How do you get rid of the sales mentality of, I had the manager call me and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that both managers were going to be out of an office. How do you get out of these holes? How do you get away from thinking like, this guy who's not here, that guy or girl who's not here? How do you change that craft? Then how do you become good at what you do and stop complaining about what you do? Really think about that. Think about that. Because even if you're here, are you really here? Those of you that do come in early, like Pete, are you really here to work, or are you here because you want to say, well, I got here early? Are you that guy? You know what guy I'm talking about? I got the coffee, I'm here, but he actually logs in later than everybody else who got here after him. You know what I'm talking about, Zach? Are you that guy? So where's your mentality and where's your purpose? Underneath where's your purpose, if you wrote something down, I want you to write down just 3 reasons why you think you're there. Give me 3 reasons why you think you are there at this time with your purpose and your negativity, and how you can switch that up. And remember, it's a small tweak on everything that you wrote that's going to change your life. A small tweak. I work on engines. A small tweak of an engine, putting a little more gas inside that fuel rail, is going to bring what? A little more power. Putting a header on a car is going to give you a little more power. You don't have to switch everything you have, just little tiny things. Different tires, low profile, will give you more power. Think about the small things that you could do that add up to something huge. I said it before and I'll say it again. NASCAR. Average car will cost you $100,000, but then they spend millions of dollars going to tweak it to make it faster than the other guys. That's what we do. Now think about you. How much are you worth? How much are you worth? An infinite amount of money? No money? Put a dollar value underneath your purpose and say to yourself, are you living according to how much you value yourself? Some people can't put a valuation on themselves, which should be infinite, but do $1. How much would you pay for you? If you were in a store window right now, how much would you pay for you? Are you worth anything? Write it down. And if you're having trouble writing that down, you are in trouble. Put a value on yourself, and then I want you to list of why you think you're valued that high. Is it $1? $1 million? Infinite? How much are you worth? I don't know. But put a dollar value and say to yourself, if I had to go buy a salesperson, you had to go buy one, would you buy yourself or would you be buying someone else? Think about that. And then you have to say, well, in this job I'm going to buy this salesperson for, they have to be there from, let's say, 9:30 to 7. Are they going to show up on those hours? Are they going to go learn everything that they have to do? Do they have to learn everything about the business? And are you that person that learned all that stuff? So would you buy yourself or would you go buy someone else? Think about that. And if you're saying to yourself right now, well, if I had the money and it was between me and, let's say, Weinstein, I'd go pick Weinstein. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. So underneath purpose again, write down, why do you think that you were valued that way, and be picky on yourself, because you have to be honest. You can't keep lying to yourself and being negative. You have to go figure out the negative to go make it what? Positive. You have to fucking correct it. It's simple stuff, but we're all scared to go correct our flaws because we don't want to admit them, because we don't want to make them what? Reality. We want to believe that they're all fake. We want to believe we're the best thing in the world. No one's better at us than us. No one can sell like us. No one can save a deal like me. No one can do this like me. No one can fight like me. No one can do this. We all want to fucking believe that, but it's not the truth. And until you admit, hey, oh shit, like, no, I'm terrible here. I need to go fix this. I'm terrible here. I need to go fix this. Until you see that stuff, you won't become a 1%er. You will not do what you're capable of doing. You're going to leave work early. You're going to sit there and take 10 breaks because you're depressed. You're going to come in late because you're depressed. You're going to be broke because you're spending your money on shit that you shouldn't be spending your money on. This is a salesman's life, because most salespeople, again, can't control their thinking, which bleeds over to the consumers. Now, when you look at that paper that I'm asking you to do, that only a few pens actually moved, if you were a consumer, would you buy from that person that you just wrote down on that sheet? Because essentially, that's your job, to get somebody to purchase from you, not someone else, correct? Okay. Well, if you're writing down all these things that you're unmotivated, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 you need to work on this, you need to work on your product knowledge, you need to work on salesmanship, you need to work on your personality, don't show up all the freaking time, all right? Take off whenever you want to, leave whenever the hell you want to, complain about a call, someone stole your deal. If it's like that, how do you think your customer feels right now? Would you want that agent to represent you? How would you feel if you were a consumer and got you on the phone? Would you be like, hell yeah, this guy or girl is awesome? Or would you say, shit, I would never want to get me? Right, Kurt? Huge differences. So now I want you guys to write down motives. So we all have different motives. We all have different opportunities. We all work for different reasons. Some of us just want that happy life, don't really care about money, don't really care about all those things. It would be nice to have them, but no one doesn't care about that. But then you got some people that do. That's all they think about is the material things, and that's why they do work. So what are your motives? And then what are your motives inside of a sale? Write those down for me. You already wrote down what your purpose was, but now I want to know your motives. So Jose's sitting back there, not writing anything down as usual. All right? I already know his motives. His motives are, I'm going to go in and just try to wing it every day, and then wait to be yelled at, and then I'll work, and then I'll sit back and not do anything again. Those are his motives. What are your motives? And I love calling people out, making them feel so uncomfortable, because not many people do that to their friends. We're all scared to tell other people what they're bad at and what the reality is inside of their lives. Really. I've seen a lot of people in here go from 0 to 100